Good morning, y'all. It's Cody's Bait and Tackle, Warsaw, Missouri. Going to give a little bit of a fishing report here. I haven't posted anything for quite a while. I've been spending a lot of time in the woods deer hunting and spending time with the family and kids out hunting. So hope everybody else out there's had a good deer season, good Thanksgiving. We had our big Thanksgiving dinner yesterday, got that over with. Probably had 35 people there for that. So that was pretty cool. Uh, Main thing, want to talk about trimming, crappie bites on, upper ends. Heard big T-bows starting to turn on just a little bit. The upper grand is really good from like Bucksaw up. Some of them creek mouths on the Osage I've heard are starting to pick up pretty good. Have not heard much on little palmy or big palmy. I do know catfish are starting to bite down there a little bit. The Osage catfish, Tally Bend, heard it's starting to pick up a little bit. Sparrowfoot, deep water up in there's got a pretty good catfish bite right now. Just cut shad, anchored fishing, drift bites over with, water temperatures dropping down. Fish might be starting to finally get in that winter pattern, schooling up in bigger schools with the bait. Should just keep getting better this next month now. Kind of the last few times I fished, I was kind of fishing some of them creek channels right along the ledges. Seemed like it was the best. Did fish Sparrowfoot the other day. There was fish scattered all over up there. They didn't seem to be real schooled up yet, but I mean there was some right down in the channel. You'd find some little pods of them. But I caught fish up in 2 foot of water, caught fish down in the channel in 9-10 foot of water. They was just everywhere up there. As far as Tally Bend, it's going to be your river channel up there, creek channels, ledges, just with fresh cut shad. What some people are still trying to use the chicken. I guess it works. They catch fish on it if you can't catch bait. But right now there's a little shad absolutely everywhere. You should be able to catch fresh bait. As long as you got a throw net and you can figure out how to throw it, that's going to be your best bet for blue cat. As far as crappie, jigs, minnows both, we do still have minnows in the bait shop. Our open hours right now are kind of hit and miss. I'm afraid come January, after Christmas, we're probably going to close down for a month or so. If it's nice weather, we'll probably try to be open on weekends, but this bait shop has been so slow, it's hard to set in here. So I've actually had a few people in this morning that was catfishing down below the dams, so they are starting to pick up a few fish down there. Been a few big fish caught down there now. They're finally starting to feed up for winter. Haven't heard of any limits of eater blue cat coming out down there, but there's been, I think one guy's been fishing pretty regular. Main one I've been talking to, ain't been too many people down there. He said he had 8 or 9 a couple days ago. Had one about 35 pounds, it looked like by the picture. So he's been doing pretty good. Just using fresh cut shad, netting them either in the harbor or down in the dead water. There should be some down there right now. Should be pretty thick. As far as upper end of Lake of the Ozarks, I've heard them crappie are kind of starting to stage up for winter already off some of them bluffs. Kind of getting into that winter pattern down there. Some of the docks are starting to load up with crappie. They've been running some water this last 2 weeks. They're about out of water to run now, unless we get some rain here real soon. Not sure where the water they're getting is coming from right now. Probably coming out of Pomme de Terre, Stockton. Probably Stockton. But they've been managing to run some of a morning on the real cold mornings we've had. So hopefully that keeps up for a little while. I think that's what's made the fishing down below the dam quite a bit better. Real good friend of mine, he fished last week pretty hard. He finally gave up on the deer hunting, fished down there for crappie and walleye. couple of days he had his limit of crappie just fishing off the rocks down from the handicap dock. Said there was quite a few guys fishing across from it over around where the old pump house used to be and the old road bed. They was catching crappie, starting to pick up some walleye. I haven't heard anybody catching a limit of walleye, but I think he said one night he had two. A couple of days he had two. Said somebody caught 3 one night. That's kind of what I was wanting to talk about on this video. Everybody comes in here wanting to know kind of usually about the end of February, 1st of March, everybody starts wanting to know about walleye. That actually starts the end of November pretty well every year as long as they got some water to run. Your locals, your guys that fish that all the time always start the first part of December or into November on walleye. They'll catch them ones that come up in there earlier. I heard there was one caught last week that was like 27 inches, around 8 pounds. So for this early, that's a really good fish. Kind of the pattern this time of year until that water temperature does get real cold. You're going to start out with like a 2.5 to 3.5, 4-inch bait. Just a swim bait, which you can cut them down. These Gene LaRue long john minnows, them used to be one of the main go-to baits. Your little power baits, they're 3.5 inch. The Gene LaRue's a 4-inch. Sliders, most common. The 3-inch sliders. Last year, 99% of the time, everybody said they wanted something with glitter in it. Something with a little bit of sparkle in that clear water. It all depends on whether it's sunny, cloudy, on what color you're going to want. Last week I was here in the Pearls. It was sunny, cloudy days. You're probably going to want something darker. Kind of what's become the real hot lure right now for them is these little Kitex. They're a softer bait. They got a ton of action to them. That one's a 3-inch bait. I pretty well got wiped out on these this last week. I've still got a few in the shop. But last year, that was the hottest lure down there for a lot of people. We sold a ton of them. And we didn't even know they was using them until later in the winter, and we ended up getting them in for them, and we still sold a bunch of them. As that water temperature gets really cold, well, let me go back a little bit. So if the running water of a morning, you're going to want 3/16 or 2/8 on, or 1/4 ounce, something that'll get you down a little bit deeper. If they shut that water off, throw an 1/8 ounce, just regular 1/8 ounce pink, orange, chartreuse, doesn't really matter. Last year I had a couple of guys that was just wanting plain white. I sold some white this week, so that might be a thing again this winter. You want to work that as slow as you can. Run real sensitive line, sensitive rod. That way you can feel that little hit. Sometimes you won't feel very much. A lot of the time that walleye, he's either going to thump it hard or he's just going to have dead weight on there. So if you feel that, set the hook on it. Now, as this water temperature starts to get colder, your bait size is going to get smaller. Usually by February, if you start getting a few dead shad, you want to run really small jigs for them, like a 2-inch, 2.5 inch. The guys that run them sliders, once it gets down to that point, they might pinch half that or third of that slider off. Make them almost the size of the crappie sliders, but they still got that little bit fatter profile for that bigger jig head. Same way with the long john minnow. I think that's one reason why them was so popular. You can kind of look at the profile of that. You can cut that down wherever you want it and use it however long you want it. So them are good choices pretty well no matter what the water temperature is. Usually by March, that water temperature starts to warm back up a little bit, and they'll start going back into that bigger swim bait style. Usually January, when I used to fish them all the time down there, I would always just run like the little slab hunter or just some kind of small crappie jig, just like I was crappie fishing. You'd catch white bass, occasional hybrid, pretty well a little bit of everything down there when you're throwing them smaller jigs to catch the walleye. I even used to hand tie some like mustard yellow colored hair jigs and catch them on them. That was 20 years ago when I actually fished down below the dam a lot and actually tried to catch walleye. But pretty well, you want pearl, some chartreuses, some darker colors. Last year, like I said, that white, the cotton candy, the pink with glitter in it, them was really hot. The blue ice was hot. That June bug, like that, kind of purplish color was hot. Just varied. One week they might want one color, next week the other color. So basically just try. If you ain't catching, you ain't getting bit, change colors. So that's about all I've got for you guys. Have not heard much on the white bass and hybrids up on Truman. I did have a guy come in the shop, would have been Wednesday, I think. Tuesday or Wednesday. He was going to go try them. He caught a couple just as soon as he got out there on the banks, and then it was over. Never caught nothing else the rest of the day. So they're going to be pretty sporadic right now. They should be kind of going into all the creeks and stuff like that, but I haven't seen them yet. So I'm sure they're there. I know a couple weeks ago they had moved up in like Clear Creek on Big Tebow and Turpin Branch and Osage Bluff Cove, but I haven't seen them since or heard of anybody really tearing them up since. I know there's been a few caught, but nothing crazy. So that's all I've got. Hopefully that helps you guys out some. As far as shop hours, you can shoot me a message on Facebook, actually to my Cody Van Atten page, not the bait shop page. I don't check it near as much. If you guys need something and you question whether we're open or not, just shoot me a message. I'll try to answer it back as quick as I can on whether we're here or not. I know we'll try to stay open for sure Fridays and Saturdays. We might close down like half a day Sunday, which we have been. We've been closing at noon on Sunday. And then close Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is kind of what we was thinking about doing. Let us get caught up in everything else, and I'll still be busy guiding pretty well regular. That's something else I wanted to mention forgot about. If anybody is wanting a catfish trip this winter, I don't know if I'll run any crappie trips or not. Possibly if somebody wants to do a spider rigging trip on Lake of the Ozarks or something, I'll take them. But that'd be about it. Watch my Facebook page. I am booked solid for December. Most of January and February, I'm pretty well booked up. Might have a couple days left open in January and a couple days left in February. But I am getting a lot of cancellations still. This last week, I had 2 of my 3 trips cancel. I had this week. So watch that. If y'all want to jump in on one of them cancellations, just give me a holler when I post it. I always post that on my Facebook page. Usually I rebook it within an hour or so. This winter everything's different. Money's tighter for everybody. It's starting to get cold now, so a lot of people aren't really thinking about fishing too much. But keep an eye on there. If you want to jump in on one of them cancellations, just message me. This week I actually had a couple days notice I posted it, so a lot of the time it's the night before, but just keep an eye on it. I appreciate it, everybody. Like I said, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving, and hopefully everybody has a good Christmas. So I'll try to do another fishing report here in probably 2 weeks or so. So I'll let you know what's going on down below the dam. I don't think they'll have water to run in another 2 weeks, but we'll see.